Surely you didn't think I was done fishing in my kayak for the year. Okay, to tell you the truth, I definitely thought I was done fishing in my kayak for the year. But today it's literally like 55 degrees outside. I'm very warm right now. It feels incredible. It's funny how during the summer if it's 55, we're all like freezing, but during the winter if it's 55, it's like, whoa, let's go to the beach. Anyways, like I said, I really didn't have an intention of getting the kayak out again this year, but I decided let's just take advantage of this nice weather and let's see what we can do. To be completely honest with you, I have zero expectations of catching any fish today. Fishing is going to be very difficult. Put it this way, Mule Lake, which is the lake I'm on right now, had a thin sheet of ice this morning and now it's completely open just because of the hot sun today. I would like to think that that's gonna fire up some of the fish, but I have no idea, and I am not a very good winter fisherman, so we'll see. Oh yeah, you're probably curious what I have rigged up. Well, I've got two rods rigged up, one with a jerkbait and one with a blade bait. To tell you the truth, I really want to catch a fish on that blade bait because I've never actually fished a blade bait before. Oh, also, I'm joking. I've got a third rod rigged up too. Of course I've got a Ned Rig with me. What do you think this is? Of course I've got a Ned Rig. Okay, let's stop yipping and yapping. Let's start casting blasting. Let's go! Because I work today and I've got very limited time, I've got three primary locations that I think will be somewhat high percentage for winter, and I'm gonna focus all my efforts on those three spots. I'm probably gonna rotate between all three lures and really just pick apart the area, and if it's meant to be, it'll happen. Like I said, I really want to catch a fish on this blade bait. I picked up a couple of these. This one's a 1/4 ounce. The other one I have is a 3/8 ounce. It's pretty shallow in here, so I think a 1/4 will be good. Oh, there's still some ice here. Well, son of a gun. Come on now. That's about as thin as ice can be. Not worried about it. It sounds worse than it is. We're just out here breaking ice, trying to catch fish, man. I've watched a couple videos on how to use these things, but I obviously can't tell you I'm an expert because I've never used them. I'm basically just gonna pulse it off the bottom. So I'll just kind of yo-yo it up and down. I'm gonna incorporate pauses in between my pulses. You know, these bass are not gonna wanna move very far to eat, and so it's okay to kind of just let it sit for a second. Got something down there, I don't know what that is. There's some fish definitely hugging bottom right here. It might be perch for all I know. Why don't we give the Ned Rig a shot? All right, so today's Ned Rig of choice is a 1/32 ounce fire red Mule Jig, and that's actually a watermelon red flake Finesse ShadZ. And the reason I decided to go with this is because it's gonna have an extremely slow rate of fall. And it's funny, part of the reason I rigged this particular setup up is because of an old email that I got at one point from Ned Katie, and he was talking about winter fishing. I don't know, it was probably about 7-8 years ago. He talked about how he really liked the 1/32 ounce jig with a Finesse ShadZ during the winter and really just focus in on dead sticking it. That was really what motivated me to, no way, no way, no way, no way. We did it, yellow perch. We caught a fish, man. I'll take a yellow perch any day of the week. And that's actually a really good looking yellow perch. Look at how he ate that Mule Jig. Man, I tell you what, we caught a fish. There ain't nothing wrong with a little perch action. It's a chunky little perch, man. God, you gotta love that. Just such a gorgeous fish. Where there's one perch, you'd gotta believe there'd be two. Just hugging bottom. Anyways, what inspired me to throw this Ned Rig is an email from Ned Katie many years ago. Okay, now the big thing for me is usually when I catch a fish, I get really excited and I start working my baits too fast. Well, that's simply not an option this time of year. So you really have to just be extremely disciplined when you're fishing this time of year, and you can't get excited and start working your stuff too fast. Some people don't have that problem, but I'm about as excitable as they come when it comes to fishing. I can catch a 6-inch bass and start working my bait 100 miles an hour just because I'm fired up. Jocelyn, my wife, and I have eaten a lot of chili over the last couple months, but I tell you what, we're making more chili today. And so as soon as I get off the water and go back inside, I'm gonna have a big old bowl of chili and scoop it up with Fritos. One of the last times I fished in my kayak, I remember saying the exact same thing. Man, you just cannot eat enough chili. It's one of those foods that I just never get sick of. I'm gonna go ahead and run this jerkbait as well. You know, this is kind of like a bluegill pattern. Obviously it could imitate a perch as well. Gotta give every single one of these baits a chance. Oh, there's a bite. Oh, something hit it. I know something hit it. I wonder if like a little tiny yellow perch kind of popped the tail or something. I genuinely believe that the fire red is so clutch this time of year where you have perch, because the perch, man, they can get super orange. There's a bite. Is that gonna be another perch? It's really small. That's what it is. Well, this one's not a very good example, but what I was gonna say is the perch can get really orange on their fins. This one's real small, but those bigger ones will get super orange on their fins, and what I think is that fire red does a great job of mimicking them. You know, he's chunky, he's well fed, but he's a very small fish. But I'll take him. Anything that wants to eat my Ned Rig, I will take. One last time, taking my kayak out. Oh, something was carrying it, something was dinking it. Man, I should have probably brought an ultralight with a little gulp minnow. I bet that little gulp minnow right here on a Mule Jig would just pulverize these perch. Yes, this might be a bass. No. The value of the daggum mule jig, man. Ned Rig faux life. Are you kidding me? Did I expect to catch a bluegill? Heck no. This bluegill somehow managed to get this thing in his mouth. Man, I'll take that. That's actually a pretty cool gill. Very yellow. Very nice. All right, you are freezing, dude. That is hilarious. Did I expect that? Not at all. I thought that was gonna be like a little 10-inch bass or something. As much as I wanna keep fishing right here because I am catching fish, I also value learning and I value experimenting as an angler. So I've got 2 more holes that I at least wanna try. I can't say for sure if I'll catch anything, but I do wanna at least give it a shot. This little Ned Rig right here, great for multi-species apparently. I like this thing. 1/32 ounce fire red mule jig with a watermelon red flake Z-Man Finesse ShadZ. The thing about this that I really want to point out is just how slow of a rate of fall this thing is going to have, because the jig head is only 1/32 of an ounce rather than 1/16, and then the plastic, I don't know if it has any salt in it. It might have a little, but it doesn't have much, so it's going to be pretty buoyant. And then on top of that, this body's extremely lightweight. It's very slim, so it's going to slow fall like crazy. So the combination as a whole is very much a slow moving presentation. One thing you got to realize when you're fishing for bass this time of year, a lot of times they suspend, and so using something that's going to sink to the bottom extremely slow is obviously clutch, because if a fish is suspending and this is slow falling, you give them a lot bigger opportunity to actually capitalize on that and eat that. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's get back to fishing. I'm gonna go check a different hole and hopefully we can catch some more fish. Let's go. On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. That's one of my go-to songs for when I move locations. You know, Willie Nelson's clutch. You know, you gotta respect Willie Nelson. There's a fish. There's a fish. What is this? This has got to be... It's a dinky perch. I was gonna say, that was such a weird bite. I was getting ready to say that I do think there's fish here because I'm starting to mark some stuff on the bottom. Oh gosh, perch down, chill. I need you to chill. Okay, bye, okay. I do see every now and again, I see these suspended marks and it's right in the same areas as these perch and potentially bluegill. And that definitely makes me think it's probably a bass. I'm gonna cast my Ned Rig out there and then I'm gonna immediately start working my jerkbait, and I'm just gonna dead stick my Ned Rig. In between pauses, I'll check on my Ned Rig, make sure it's doing okay. You need anything? You need any ice water? Maybe a lemonade? Nope, you're good, okay. How about the jerkbait? You need anything? Nothing? Okay, well, back to the Ned Rig. This is probably not a good strategy, but I'm trying, okay? I wanna catch fish. When you have very little time, you gotta maximize that time, my friends. That was a bite. That has to be a perch. Yes, it is. That's probably my second biggest. Pretty perch right there. Man, he's like an ice cube, and he just pooped all over my hand. Come on, buddy. There you go. They just hold on to that thing. Look at that. All right, well, that's a mess. Wonderful. Have to rinse my hand off in the frigid freaking water. You know, when you're fishing in the middle of December and you're catching fish, you cannot complain about getting pooped on. The old poop penalty. Catch the perch, get the poop penalty. It's odd to me that I haven't caught one on this blade bait. I haven't really fished it much, but honestly, I'm surprised a perch hasn't smoked it yet. Let's go try one more spot and then we're gonna call it a day. It's getting cold and that sun has went down. If it's gonna happen, it's gotta happen quick. The reason I decided to fish over... Was that a bite? What the heck? I couldn't even tell it was a fish. Also, my fish finder's dying. I'll tell you what, the yellow perch are certainly willing to bite today. I figured eventually I'd get one on this blade bait. Just a little bass candy right there. Well, based on the fact that I didn't think I was gonna catch squat today, I gotta say, I'm very pleased. And I'm gonna give all the credit to the good old-fashioned Ned Rig. Honestly, if Ned Katie would have never sent that email 8 years ago or whatever, talking about how that 1/32 ounce jig with a Finesse ShadZ worked for him in the winter, I don't know that I would have ever thought to rig this up. But I guarantee you this, I'm glad I did rig it up because it did the trick. So thank you, Mr. Ned Rig, and thank you, Mr. Ned Katie, for everything you've done for me as an angler, as well as about a billion other anglers out there. Okay, it's time to go eat some chili. I hope you guys have a great night. We'll catch you next time. Oh, also, I need to give my buddy Gary some credit because Gary told me about rigging a 1/32 ounce mule jig with this very bait a long time ago. So shout out, Gary. I should have fished with it sooner, but shout out, buddy. Shout out. Ned Rig for life.